Who's good, who's bad, and how do you possibly pick who's going to win Saturday's football games? What's up, everybody? I'm Uncle Buck with the Two Buck Sports Show, and I'm here to talk to you about week number 9 of the college football season. Listen, college football used to be about parity. That's what everybody said, anyways. I kind of always rejected it because how can it really be full of parity when the same 4 to 6 teams are winning the national championship, are competing in the playoff every single year? Every year it was Alabama, Georgia, Clemson, Ohio State, Oregon. It's the same teams competing every year for a chance at the national championship. Sure, there was parity underneath that, but when it really comes down to it, there wasn't any parity at the top. It was wash, rinse, and repeat. Alabama wins a national championship. But then 2024 happens, and it is chocked full of parity. The transitive property used to be a good way for you to say, oh, my team is better than that team without my team ever actually playing that team. For those of you who aren't familiar, the transitive property in math says that if A is greater than B and B is greater than C, then A is greater than C. We used to be able to use that formula in college football. It was used regularly. You can't anymore. Transitive property has been the wildest I've ever seen it. And I'm going to give you an example in the SEC. Alabama kills number 1 Georgia in the first half of their football game. They hold on. Georgia makes a furious comeback, but Alabama wins because of a dominating first half against number 1 Georgia. Alabama then takes the number 1 spot in the country, only to lose at Vanderbilt the next week. And then Georgia, who lost to Alabama, goes and dominates number 1 Texas in Austin. And Texas beat Michigan, the defending champion, in the Big House. So transitive property is out the window. South Carolina, I can't imagine how you've lived through this season. South Carolina smashes Kentucky earlier in the year. And then Ole Miss goes to South Carolina and smashes them. And then South Carolina goes to Tuscaloosa, and they're a missed field goal away from upsetting Alabama in Tuscaloosa. Tennessee loses to Arkansas and then beats that Alabama team. So, listen, parity, it's chock full of parity. I don't know how you can tell who stinks and who doesn't stink. Ultimately, in the SEC, I don't know that there is a team that quote unquote sucks. I just don't think so. Arkansas travels to Starkville, Mississippi to play the 1-6 Mississippi State Bulldogs this year. And Arkansas is a 6.5 point favorite. If Mississippi State wins outright Saturday, nobody's going to be shocked by that. Missouri, who got throttled by Texas A&M at home earlier in the year, goes to Bryant-Denny Stadium to play Alabama. If Missouri beats Alabama Saturday, no one's shocked by that. Ole Miss is an 18.5 point home favorite against Oklahoma. If Oklahoma goes in and keeps it close or wins outright against Ole Miss, no one's going to be shocked. I don't think you're capable of being shocked anymore. If you've forgotten, Vanderbilt beat Alabama. Like, NIL has just smoothed this out. All of Alabama's players who are sitting on the bench are playing for schools like Vanderbilt or Mississippi State or Ole Miss or Kentucky. Kentucky's starting quarterback is a Georgia transfer. Carson Beck beat out Brock Vandegrift. Brock Vandegrift went to Kentucky. Kentucky beat Georgia. Kentucky beat Ole Miss, rather. So, I don't know who to tell you. There's no one in the SEC that's unbeatable. And I don't know that I can tell you that anybody in the SEC sucks. Kentucky's looking fine some weeks, terrible some weeks. Same way with Florida. Mississippi State has held 3 respectable games in a row against Texas A&M, Georgia, and Texas. They've held their own. They've lost all of them. So what's important? Crucial situations are important. The 2 Ole Miss losses, they didn't put them away. You've got to win these crucial down and distances because unlike college football in the past, college football today is kind of looking like the NFL where anybody can win and anyone can lose. And what matters is crunch time and execution in third downs in the red zone. It's about getting stops, getting that crucial turnover. Listen, it's big boy football now. It looks like it. It looks like the NFL. It's not as polished, obviously, as the NFL, but it's got the parity of the NFL now. Anybody can be beat any given Saturday. If you look at the team that surprised you this year, there's 3 teams in the top 25 this week that you would have never dreamt. Navy, Army, Vanderbilt, 23, 24, and 25 in the AP poll this week. What do those teams have that the other teams that were struggling, the teams that are struggling to dominate have? They've got continuity. They've got guys there that buy in. These guys that are playing for Army, Navy, and Vanderbilt, and you can include Duke, who's 6-1. Those players that are playing on that team did not go to that team for money or fame. They came in and played, but went there. Well, service academies aside, we know why they're there. But Vanderbilt and Duke, they're there because they're getting to play. They're in a team environment. You can buy into a team mindset when you go to a school like that because you have no aspirations. You're not paid millions of dollars. You're not showing up in a Lamborghini. The the team concept is there and it's continuity. That's what every top tier team doesn't have right now. And it's a real learning curve. I don't really know how coaches deal with it. And I don't think coaches know how they're going to deal with it. That's why Nick Saban's out. Coaches don't want to deal with this. To take it to college basketball, Virginia's coach, Tony Bennett, national championship, just walked away because he just can't handle this new beast. It's a young man's game, I guess. So, how do you pick this week's games? Dude, I don't know. Go with your heart. See if there's a gaping matchup problem for one team as opposed to the other. But all I can say is just it's probably best just to sit down, grab your popcorn, your cold drink, and just enjoy the chaos. Because if you're betting on this kind of stuff, listen, it's your money. I'm not doing it. But, anyways, I'm Uncle Buck of the $2 Sports Show. Stick around here, hang out on the channel, the Bluff City Media YouTube channel. Check out all of our shows. Buckets will be here first part of next week to recap week number 9 and watch the $2 Sports Show. Everybody have a good Saturday, and we'll see you next week.